Welcome to tutorial 5. We're going to talk about the morphological and the region of interest. The morphological parameters will tell you everything about the shape of the plant, the morphology. We have different settings here on the left bottom screen. And what we can do is, we already have the object pixels because you need it. So you can also leave them out, but then you only get the convex hull, for example. But what you can do, we have object pixels. It will be shown here how big this is. So in this case now, currently it's 163,000 pixels. And here you can already see the data. It's already automatically calculated, only it's not visualized. But to visualize it, it's pretty easy. Just check the boxes and say what you want to see. The skeleton is a special one. This is a heavy calculation, so normally this is turned off. If you turn it on, it will calculate the skeleton of this plant. For this one, it's not that interesting, but now you can see the skeleton. It will also calculate the size of the skeleton, the total size, the longest path length, so one interconnected path length, the junctions, and how many endpoints there are. Well, and for the other parameters like the convex hull, the minimum circle, it's also calculated here. So we calculate, for example, for the minimum rectangle, we calculate the width, the height, the total area in pixels, the rotations to the normal. So I can only show you the minimum circle. So this is, minimum rectangle. So you can see it's a little bit off. So in this line, so that's 31.8 degrees. The mask area, so how much of the object pixels, how much percentage will it uptake of the total square? In this case, it's 0.553, so 55.3%. We also calculate the alpha. That's the angle where the direction where the most pixels are. And we have incorporated this because we had a customer that wanted to measure the corners of a banana. So now with the alpha, we can perfectly measure what the alpha is for a banana. And it's calculated here. Well, we also have the measuring tool. If you click it on and you draw a line like this, it will show you here the size. So this is 695 pixels. And if I want to calibrate the system, and I, for example, know that this was, let's say, 15 centimeters, you can go to metric. You say 15 centimeters, so 150 millimeters. Press enter, equals 695 pixels. Now everything is calibrated and converted to square millimeters, or millimeters, just the size, the length. So then you have everything calibrated. So always when you image, I would recommend to have a known size in your image so you can calibrate it. So you don't have to do it like this, like in this image. But for example, if you go to the color image and you have it laying around here, or you measured this leaf and you know, okay, that's 5 centimeters or 2 centimeters, then you can calibrate your system. When I go back to morphological, that's pretty much it. We can change again all the colors. You can just switch it back if you want. If I change the skeleton to orange and I want to go back, you press the right mouse button. The same way as what we did here with the background mask and edge. You can just change it. This is the morphological part. We will also be able to retract this information out of the image, but that will be shown in the next tutorial to show you how to subtract all the data. Now the final thing we have is a region of interest. I will go to a different image just to show you how useful this can be. So region of interest, you can put over a plant, and I will show you by this example. I will just put them away. We have a nice square. As you can see, this is a little bit tilted already, this plate. So when you have this kinds of big grids, always make sure that you put the tray into a fixed grid that's really linear to the camera. Then your analysis software, the time you have to do the analysis will be way shorter. And I can show you because with a region of interest, I can say user defined. Then you get 4 circles or rectangles. In this case, I want to have rectangles because we have rectangle clips, rectangle plugs. But now I'm going to do a matrix because this is a matrix. So you can drag this by pressing the first one and drag it over your screen. You can see it sometimes it doesn't go that smoothly, but if you lower it, so do less columns, it will be faster. If you do this with 200, your computer will crash. So always make sure you do it with a couple. I always do it like with 4x4, because then you also have a good, you can see if it will line up pretty good. So I will just make them a little bit bigger, like 45 by 45 or 50. 50 by 50 would be nice. Then we have a little bit more than the entire square. And now I can set the margins. You can see that here, yeah, it's not in the correct margin. So I can set here the XY margin in pixels. So this is for the X. This looks pretty good. And for the Y, oh, well, pretty satisfied with that. And now I'm going to see if it works, because if you then increase the, oh, wrong button. If you increase it, you can see, yeah, for the X direction, it's pretty good. Let's see if the Y direction will have the same result. It shifts a little bit. Yeah, now it's perfect. If I put it on 10, you can see we have 204 individual regions of interest. Always press update, because now it's calculated. All the parameters of the of these plants are calculated. I can show you, because if I now press 2, for example, you will see here the FV over VM. So 2 has an FV over VM of 0.807. 12, for example, has a really low one, 0.73. And I can also visualize it here in the FV over VM. You can see it. And now we can calculate this pretty easily to all the individual numbers, because all the regions we have here, we can log them individually and see what their values are for the pixels. When you use region of interest, the object recognition and the morphological parameters doesn't work anymore, because the object recognition only works without the regions of interest. This is a software thing we are gonna solve in the future, probably, but for now, the morphological parameters only work with without the region of interest. Okay, so that's region of interest. You can also change it up, so in circles or in eclipse, so you can do it like this a little bit and eclipse around. So yeah, that can be useful if you have a lot of rounds to or circle plugs or stuff like that. You can just make it like this. But what you can also do, for now example, we have some leaves that are doubled or they are hanging over in a different one. You can also say, oh, okay, well, I have a circle, but I will just make it a little bit smaller. So I only, for instance, have the heart of the plant instead of the entire plant. For any reason that could be useful, it's a possibility. Always don't forget to press update, because then it will calculate everything again. Okay, so this was regions. We also have here, that was an error. We also have calibrate. This is something you don't need to use, but it's an option. If you put a white tile, for instance, in your image, and for any reason one of the LEDs didn't work, or I don't know, you have the possibility to recalibrate here on the color and on the spectral imaging, so also on chlorophyll index and anthocyanin, to make it a little bit, to make it accurate again, so you can calibrate it again on a white plate. This is an extra feature. You can use it. We never use it because normally, the systems works flawlessly. So, but if you want to make sure, just put a white tile in it, and we can calibrate the system afterwards. And then we have the button, another rain check error. There's the recording, and here you can see how all the images were recorded. So the fluorescence image was done with a shutter of 800 microseconds and a gain of 300. spectral imaging, you can see, you can select the filters, what was the integration time. You can really see how everything works. You can also see the device code, so the device where it was taken with which machine. So this was all the tabs. I also explained all the different buttons. In the next tutorial, we will take a look at the, I would just switch the regions off. I think they are bothering me. We will take a look at the setup log and how to get all the data out of the images. Okay, thank you and see you in the next one.